All right, y'all. I was doing some thinking. First and foremost, I was listening to some live streams today, basketball related, and so I started thinking about some things, especially with the Bulls. And let's talk about expectations in this roster. Um, and I know I did a video not too long ago discussing expectations, but this is going to be a little different. Let's talk about what they have. Lonzo Ball, and mainly the starters here: Zach LaVine, DeRozan, Vooch, and Pat Will. Solid starting five, one of the better starting fives in the league, if I do say so myself. However, I think there's a clear ceiling with this team. And because of it, there's some interesting things at play here. But let's talk about it this way. This is Zach's last year. He's due for a contract extension next year. Why would they pay him if they're not going to win anything with him? You're going to be in the tax because you're going to be paying three guys over 20 million. Pat Will still on his rookie contract. His numbers will probably never be good enough within the next couple years to get him one of those maxes, but he'll be like a 15 to 17 kind of guy probably. So let's start with this timeline of events here. Let's look at these contracts. Not the actual value, but let's look at them. First of all, start with Lonzo. 4 years, the fourth year is a player option. He has that. So 3 years guaranteed, 4 year he can opt out. Okay, fair enough. Zach LaVine. This is his last year. He'll need to be re signed after this year. In all likelihood, as long as they make the playoffs and they play pretty well, he should re-sign for like 5 years at like a max or super max level. If he makes it to one of like those all NBA teams, I think he's eligible for like over 205 million. Pretty good payday. DeRozan just signed for 85 million 3 years. Pat Will, this is his second year, and then they'll obviously re him up 2 more years. They're going to take the options, the two rookie options, and so he'll be eligible for a contract next offseason. Not this year, but after next year he'll be eligible. So in year three of his contract offseason, between year 3 and 4, let me say it that way. Um, so you're not worried about him. Vooch's contract is up the year after Zach's. So you got this year, Zach has to get paid. Then next year, and then Vooch is a free agent. Why am I giving y'all this information? Zach has to sign next year. Lonzo and DeMar DeRozan are good for the next 3 years. Vooch is over in 2 years. Pat Will has to be signed. Pat Will's contract hits. Yeah, his contract is actually up when DeRozan and Zoes is. So for the most part, in the next 3 years, half of the roster is going to have to be re-signed, half of the starters. Let's look at it this way. Why do you have all these shorter term deals? With the exception that Zach will probably be back on a 5 year deal. More importantly, your older players don't have long. So you're not worried about Pat. Pat's not going to make enough money. He's not going to get the stats to make enough money going forward to where it's going to threaten your roster construction. Interesting. Pat Will's 19 going on 20. Zach is, I think he's 26. I think his birthday was this year already, so he shouldn't be aging more. But Zoe's birthday is in October, and so he'll be 24 this year. So I'm not sure when Pat Will's birthday is. Either way, by the end of this season, he'll be 20, I think. 20, 24, 26. Versus 31 and like 31. Interesting. Why are we having this discussion? I think ultimately the Bulls didn't want to box themselves in and they want to be able to self destruct this thing without hindering their progress. But let's be fair. Let me be real. The core of this team is Lonzo, Zach, and Pat Will. Why? Zoe and Pat Will, good deals going forward. They'll probably outperform them. Vooch is out of here in 2 years at worst. And here's the thing. Remember when I told y'all I think his numbers were going to suffer? If his numbers suffer, you don't have to pay him as much. He's getting paid $22 million a year. You don't want to have to pay him that much into his like 30s. No, especially for a guy who's on the later end of his prime. You're not trying to pay out a lot of money. I think his numbers are going to suffer for that reason alone. DeRozan, you needed to pay to get him. And he's going to be there to serve a purpose. But is he going to be the long-term answer at the three? No. He will not. But they want to play fast. He got two older guys. Not that DeRozan can't run. DeRozan can still get up and down the court. But you don't have an athletic big starting. So really, if they're playing like the 7 seconds or less offensive pace and space, for the most part, in pace and space, Vooch fits, but he don't fit 7 seconds or less. I'm not saying to run in 7 seconds or less. But I would think in the 7 seconds or less, DeRozan fits better, and Vooch don't. Don't make sense. It don't make sense. See, what I'm trying to get you guys to understand is this is why I think the core is Zoe, Pat, and Zach. And I don't think it's the other two. So why are they here? I think they're just help groom the other guys to be able to carry this team on their own. Zach would still be in the middle of his new contract by the time everybody else's expires. He'll still have like 3 years left. Vooch's contract expires in the first year of Zach's new one. If they let him go, that's money off the books. They can go get another player. If they keep him, they can choose to sign him for less if he wants to stay. DeRozan, though, you got to pay to get what you want. In 2 years, you'll have one more year of Zoe, one more year of DeRozan, and one more year of Pat Will with 4 years of Zach. And maybe, and you won't have, you definitely won't have Vooch if you choose not to bring him back. DeRozan's contract becomes easier to move. And for a championship level team or team contending that needs that extra push, they might make the play for DeRozan. You might want to do a trade, which means you can go and fish for other pieces. By then, 22 Pat Will, 26 Zoe, and 28 Zach LaVine. Okay. I get okay. You follow me? You follow me? Okay. I think they did this on purpose. I think the end goal here is obviously this team is not beating, the Lakers in a 7-game series, nor are they beating probably the Bucks and Brooklyn. Golden State is interesting though, because that's the other championship contender I see in the West. I'm not sure about Phoenix. Phoenix probably should be there. Um, I think they can beat them. So, Billy Donovan wants to play fast. Those three are the core. What are they fishing for? I think the first year is to see how they work together and to groom Lonzo and get Zach LaVine experience along with Pat Will. Second year, I could see a trade happening to get Vooch up out of here for something else. And then you see how that works. Next year, DeRozan's got his last year. Zoe has a player option that he could take. You flip DeRozan for whatever it is that you need, and then y'all push for it. By then, they should have enough experience. Zoe and Zach should have enough experience to where they can take you where you need to go. If here's the thing, if we're signing Zoe, obviously Zach LaVine had some interest behind it. Billy Donovan did too, and I think because both of these guys came from Toronto and Denver's front offices, and there have been rumblings of them wanting him. They might have wanted him already anyway. And if Billy Donovan is trying to play fast, you need a point guard that's going to operate your system. I think that's Zoe. You need a go-to scorer. That's Zach. You need a defensive wing that can space the floor and do like a toolbox, kind of like Zoe. That's Pat Will. You're going to need other guys to fit that. So the first couple years, I think, of Vooch and DeRozan is to basically get these guys ready to lead. By then, Zoe is in his prime. Zoe should be Jason Kidd or better. Zach is still going to be doing Zach. Pat Will, I've heard rumblings of him being compared to Claw or Kawhi. If he's anywhere close to where Kawhi was at that age, that's a godsend. But they got to be looking for two other players. Now, I'm not sure what that's going to be. But there's no way DeRozan and Vooch are still on this roster in 2 years. No way. So what's the play? I don't quite know who will be available at that time other than Vooch's contract. Zion will get his new contract at the end of this year, but it won't kick into effect until after Vooch's contract is up. B.I. just played the first year of his. If we count the next two, he would still have 2 years left. So it can't be him. Jaylen Brown? I'm not sure how many years Jaylen Brown has on his contract. But hear me out. Jaylen Brown and Tatum, here's the thing. They may be looking to blow that team up. They've been together for a while, haven't done much, and it seems like they're getting worse. They may look to blow that team up. Maybe they trade Jason Tatum for assets. Jason Tatum, LaVine, Zoe. Jaylen Brown, LaVine, Zoe, Pat Will. Excuse me. I'm trying to think of players, right? There's got to be something in the works. There's got to be. Because you wouldn't give those contracts to all detonate at the same time for a reason. Zoe has the option to opt out and become an unrestricted free agent in year 3. And a player option if he wants to take it. If he wants to resign, they can extend him probably within 2 years anyway. And they can extend him probably for a max or super max. And his contract will be right on the way with Zach LaVine's. And then by then, I guess if they both don't work, you just blow it up completely. But there's got to be more moves coming in the future. I think this is a domino effect. There's a reason that Vooch contract is what it is and DeRozan's is what it is. I'm not quite sure yet how this is going to work out, but you can't play pace and space with DeRozan all this time and paying him all this money on a decline. And Vooch is going to be on a decline too. You can't keep paying him high money and not getting anywhere. You're going to have to recoup that money in certain places, and that's going to have to go to other assets. This is going to be the thing to watch going forward. What they do with this roster. This ain't its final form. This is like base level. This year is going to be experimental year. They need to be in the playoffs. You need to see what they are, and they're going to make their moves based off of that. I promise you. I promise you. Vooch and DeRozan ain't here long term. This is a temporary thing. Get them over the hump to get into the playoffs. Once they're there, Zach and Zoe will do the heavy lifting with Pat will. And Pat will probably go to a guy that's getting 14, 15 shots a game. Zach will get his 19, 18, and Zoe will probably get like 15, 16. I think that's where this is headed. Zoe's going to be the two guy here. He's going to be the two guy here. And let me mention the Zoe thing, because like I said, this is a Zoe channel. Check this out. Go look back last year, Zoe's workouts, and this year. Last year was more off-ball 3 and D stuff. This year, pick and rolls, mid-ranges, attacking the basket, finishing through fouls. ISO stuff. Why would they have that? Why would he be working on that? To sign there, he had to know. Think about this. In his interview, his opening press conference, he stated, I want to be a point guard. I want to play my style of ball. Why did he say that? And he's working on offensive stuff, ISO stuff. He was like bottom 3 in the league when it comes to that stuff. He's trying to trend up. His role may be bigger than we first thought, but this year's probably training. You ever watch the anime and they go through like a phase where you got to either go through a time skip and the guys get stronger? This is time skip. This is, matter of fact, Dragon Ball Z, because I know everybody watches Dragon Ball Z. This is hyperbolic time chamber for Lonzo Ball. This year, maybe next year's hyperbolic time chamber. After that, cuffs coming off, you got to be Super Saiyan. He actually made a song, Leveled Up from Super Saiyan. Gotta be. This is the only way this makes sense to me. And on the flip side, if Lonzo Ball becomes a bust and just fucks everything up, you're not stuck with him for too long. 4 years, you can make that work. But if he plays good here, basically, if you're sliding the chips in on Lonzo, you got to think, okay, we're going to give him everything he needs. He's going to be good here. We can make this work. I don't think they signed Lonzo with the intent of him being a bust or failing. I think they see something. And to be honest, if they got Billy Donovan and he wants to play fast, and you got Zach that wants to play fast along with Pat Will, who's meant to play fast too, I think that's going to facilitate growth tremendously. We could be looking, if Zach takes that step to being a superstar, you need one of those guys to win a championship. If he ascends to a superstar, they got their big three. They got their big three. Now it's just a matter of, okay, Zach has to be able to match Giannis. Tall order. Zach got to be able to match KD. That's the problem. But Zoe is going to have to step into that role of, I'm Chris Middleton, I'm Robin, and I'll dictate and control everything else. He's got to be the brainchild of the operation. He's not ready yet. Zach's not ready yet, and I think the front offices, both of them are not ready yet. That's why you got Vooch. That's why you got DeRozan. They'll cover for them for now. Those guys will be ready to win in 2 years. That's my thoughts. Y'all have a good one. Peace.